Hello everyone, my name is Ananta. I am a first semester student of the London University in Borlange. Now, this video is the purpose of this video is to present the assignment for our first semester Python course, and this is for the lab 2 assignment. And in this assignment, in this lab, we have basically 5 exercises given to us. And in the first exercise, we need to calculate the calculate the user. You need to ask the user to enter the number of videos that have been purchased in a month, and it displays the number of points rewarded. And how do we reward the point? The conditions are there given in the question itself, so we can use these conditions to determine the points. In the second, we calculate the BMI or body mass index using their weight and height. In this, and formula is given in the question itself. In the third, we calculate the property tax by getting the percentage of a given condition by getting the percentage. Now, in the fourth, we can we accept the two numbers from the user and evaluate which is the maximum number among two. Now, in the final exercise 5, we test average score of the students from 5 students and get the grade gi- give them grade for their marks basically. What are the conditions and what are the situations or grade? How do we grade them? It is given in the question literature here. Above 90 is A, above 80 is B, and so on until 60 it is D, and below 60 it is fail. Now let's look at the exercises itself. How do we solve them? Exercise 1 is given here. Exercise 2, basically you can pause the video and look at the course. Exercise 4 and exercise 5. Now let's move to the exercise 5 and let me explain the exercise 5 itself, because in the exercise 5 we have all the elements of above. We take the input, we define the function, we print the output. So we are doing all of the above questions in this final exercise. Now you can see at the top and at the top of the program and in the middle of the program there are comments scattered all over the code. Now these comments is a very important thing. It's very important in while coding, because this code, this comment helps us, future proof our code. Basically, it helps us, when if we want to get back to the code in the near future and we want to look at how does this code run, and what are the things we are, what are the functions, what are the functions we are using, why are we using, what is the nature of this function, or what is the purpose of this function, and it will help us and give this much information that we can mm, basically scale this code in the future if we want, or even if some kind of bug appears, we can debug the code. Now, at first we define the first function, calculate average, and since we are given asked to calculate average of the 5 students, we give them each score. Score 1, score 2, score 3, score 4, score 5. Now, how do we calculate average? This function, what do we want this function to do? We want this function to calculate the average. And if what do we want this function to do? What do you want this function to return when we call this function in the future? We want this function to return the average. That means sum of all the scores divided by the number of scores, which is 5 is fixed number given to us. So we are using five fixed number. Now, if we do not have any fixed number, then you can use length of the score instead of the number basically. Second function is determine grade. Now, how do we determine grade? As I said earlier, it is given in the question itself. 90 above is A, and we use if and else statement to differentiate between the grades. It is a very simple condition statement, so you can use this to get the grade our all grades. Now, after introducing every functions and rules in this code, we can start collecting the data. Here we are going to collect the data from the user. User inputs the score 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 individually, and this score is stored in score 1, score 2 variables basically. And these scores are stored in a float because since this is a exam score, this might not always be in the whole number. It might be in the decimal. So want it to do not want the you know score to lose its decimals to decimal. So we will be using float. Now, after we get the data, we start printing the results. At first, we print the grades of each, which is which we have defined earlier. Define grade function. We print the score one, and what is the score one? This is the score one variable. Now, since this print, we need to get the variable inside the print function. We use f string to get the print function, and if we curly bracket inside the f string use with f string, we can get the variables from outside. This is the score one, and this will call the score that user has input, and it gives the output of grade, determine grade score that will come from sorry, this function. It will define the grade, and it will basically give out the grade for the condition which are satisfied from this given. Now we need to also calculate the average of the score for each student, and we need to calculate this score. We calculate we call the function that we have introduced earlier at the top. Define calculate average this function, and after we call this function, it will basically return the average to us. Now, and after this average is calculated, it will be saved in the average variable. Now, after we show store this average into the average variable, we can simply print the average variable. Same case here, f string to get the variable. Now we are using dot to f. This means 2 point flotation. If this is, as I said earlier, since this might be in the decimal, and we are using average here, so we are using division. There is a high chance this might be in many number past the decibel. So we are using 2.8 dot to the flotation, 2 point decibel, two numbers after the point. And this is not needed. This is not asked by the question. This is just experimental. And in this instance, we are getting the average grade of the whole class. So we have score of each, and we are getting the average score. Now after average score, we determine the average grade for average score. So this function is this code print from code is for getting the average function, average score. Sorry. So yeah, This is all the code that is needed. It's very simple. It's very straightforward. It is structured in a very simple way. What first we define the functions, we define the rules, then we get the input from the user. After we get the input from the user, we call the function we introduced earlier and basically let them do their thing and let them calculate and print the output. Now let's run the program and check if it will run in Python size underscore 5.5 is asking for a score 60.5. Let us use maximum flotation and let us fill in 50.6, 25.9, 90. Now we have given all the score. It will calculate and at first it will give us the grade of the students because in the top we are printing. So yeah, at first we are printing the average grade. So we are getting the grade at first. We are getting the grade at first. Let us run this code again. Yeah, at first we will get the average score, grade. After grade we will get the average score. And after for that average score we will get the average grade. As I said earlier, this is not necessary, but this is just an experiment for my side. Thank you very much for watching.